So Stadia is dropping features left and right. They're dropping games, there's expansions, there's even game sales, guys. We have so much to cover in this video. It's gonna be a long one. Sit back, enjoy, thumbs up, and let's get straight into it. All right, let's start this off with some awesome new Stadia features, guys, including party streaming, something I got to test out fully, and I have to say it's pretty neat. I was able to get a group going with one of my other accounts. I was able to fully watch the gameplay from another screen. Overall, this is a pretty seamless feature. It gives you that ability to watch a buddy maybe play through something that you can't dive into yourself yet, or get a feel for a game, or whatever you could use this for. I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but one thing about this feature that has me kind of dreaming a little bit, and I have no idea if this is something that's possibly able to be implemented, but maybe someone from the Stadia engineering team could clarify with me. But since this is all in the cloud, I feel like this could be a thing, and that's being able to launch these streams of your buddies, but also at the same time you get to play the same game, and essentially you have Stream Connect only being done on the Stadia side instead of the developers having to implement it into their game. Currently, if you are watching your bud, you can launch the game at the same time, so I'd love to see this evolve further. And I know this is something that it might not be fair for every game, and it won't actually work for every game because it could be a cheat or something, so let the developers decide if this is something they would want disabled. Either way, I love seeing this party streaming feature. I love the way it's been implemented, and I have high hopes for even more of it, so we'll see. Stadia also just announced some overall improvements to live streaming itself, including being able to do 4K resolution with HDR, being able to stream off your mobile web app with the caveat that you have to start the stream on your desktop. I want people to understand something like this is the benefit really to only Stadia, the platform itself, and it really shows, in my opinion, a long-term investment in getting these off the ground and running as good as it can be. There's not really another platform out there that lets you live stream 4K off their systems, because that's not even possible with their hardware. And honestly, investing in live streaming for creators is kind of the equation for growth down the line, for big growth. The direct live streaming isn't perfect at the moment, but I love that they're still making improvements. They're making overall just great adjustments, and I'm pretty much impressed with all of it. Another new feature we're looking at is now achievements based on free trials. This is coming from a website called GameDeveloper.com, who reports that instead of a timed ordeal like we have now, where it's like 60 minutes, instead you play until you complete an achievement. Now, an example that was used was with Sniper Elite 4. You can play the game until you get to the beginning of the end achievement that comes near the end of the first mission. Personally, I think this is a great way to let players play at their own pace, and at the same time complete an objective that could be a pretty fun experience, which most of these achievements tend to be based on. Also, if you do complete an achievement, that progress is going to be saved to your Google account if you have one, and at the same time you can theoretically repeat the level over and over if you need to really get a feel for the game. It seems as though this is an experiment and something they want to test to see if it leads to potentially more game sales. So cool stuff, love seeing it, and it works really great in the cloud because of course no downloading a demo, so you just go straight into the action. Finally, the last thing I want to cover here, this was discovered by Nerf Report, shout out to him. Looks like you can now launch Stadia, Luna, and other cloud gaming services off web browsers from Google Search and jump into the game you're Google searching, or potentially sign up to a new service or to a service if you try the game if there is no free trial like on Stadia. I was actually able to get this working on Microsoft Edge, but ironically not Chrome. Either way, this is pretty fantastic because when I was searching for a game, for example Control, you can just hit those play buttons. Sadly though, I can't seem to replicate it today to give you guys my own footage. I was able to get this working last week, but right now it won't pop up. But this is how it looks either way, so it could be one of those things that just went under testing but isn't fully rolled out yet. Either way, this is one of those things when it's out there permanently can be a bit of a game changer to say the least for all the cloud platforms, and I love how it's being implemented. This stuff has really long-term effects to seeing cloud gaming itself grow in the long run. Kudos to Google here to not only include Stadia but also include Play Launch for other services as well, though I have noticed Stadia is at the very top, but either way, good stuff. All right, with that, we're gonna finally hit on some game news, guys. We have plenty of it, and I'm just gonna start covering the slate of games headed our way, starting with Soccer Story. This is a completely brand new game, an RPG adventure title with a full story of characters you're gonna meet and fight against. There's quests, puzzles, secrets to discover, and of course along the way you'll be doing lots of actual soccer playing. Oh, and apparently you can go against literal sharks, toddlers, and even ninjas. The game's giving me kind of like those Mario Tennis DS days where you had a full-blown story, you leveled up your character through playing the sport, and you just enjoyed a bit of the story. And I have to say, when I see a game like this, I get extremely nostalgic because of those Mario Tennis days, so I'm excited to see what this game's all about, and I love that it's coming to Stadia. It also has 4-player local local multiplayer, so you can even do some couch co-op with it. Our next game here is one that was rated for Stadia in Snowtopia Ski Resort Builder, and as the title suggests, you're going to be building up a ski resort. No money involved though. You'll be relying on volunteers to work the lift operators, do the maintenance, do the resort improvements. Of course, you'll be building your stuff from scratch and really customizing every detail. The game has launched though to mostly mixed reviews. Lately though, there's been mostly positive reviews, so it is getting some decent updates since it released some time ago. Our next game is Dungeon and Gravestone. This was officially confirmed via the dev on Twitter. It's an action roguelike title where you're going to be doing quests, fighting bosses, collecting items, and of course dungeon crawling. The game has not launched to good reviews and people are really not saying great things about it, so not sure when this releases, but we're gonna have to take a back seat on this one to see how it runs and plays on Stadia and kind of give that a-okay if it's a good one to buy. Our next game is Tri-6 Infinite, and this looks like it was found on the Stadia YouTube channel, but the trailer has now been made private or something, but more than likely this is headed to the platform, and the people who made this game are the same who made Elemental War 2 that's currently on Stadia. This is kind of like a futuristic racer of sorts. It says it features 3 vehicles, which isn't a lot, 11 power-ups, and 4-player split screen. It released a few years ago. There's barely any reviews on this one. Not really sure what to think. I mean, it looks interesting. The gameplay to me looks pretty fun, but this is another one we're gonna have to sit back and see how it also plays on Stadia. Now, a game that does look super fun and is completely brand new is Slaycation. This was just rated for Stadia. It also saw some new trailers drop today. It's a twin-stick shooter with some pretty awesome top-down visuals. Here you'll be surviving a post-apocalyptic scenario where you're just going to be gunning down zombies and creatures left and right. It also seems to have some tower defense mechanics involved in the game, which I don't mind too much. It's got a lot of mix of different stuff in there. The gameplay just looks really awesome, and honestly, it just looks like it's going to be mindless fun. And again, this is a brand new title. It does look like it launched today across other platforms, but not Stadia, but hopefully Stadia sees a release soon. And finally, guys, on the game news for Stadia, Republic is now free to play on Stadia. Literally, you don't have to buy this action stealth title. You can play it completely free at no cost to you. This was made free across other platforms as well. I'm not sure why. It's interesting. Maybe the publisher slash developer just wanted people to be introduced to their titles and think about the other games in their catalog, but hey, no complaints here. It's a fantastic stealth game. You guys will love it. And of course, free to play. Now, this week there was also an announcement of Elder Scrolls Online is set to be free to play until the 29th, guys. So this is longer than just your typical free play days for a weekend. You can get full-blown access to this title on Stadia for free for quite some time, available now to play. It's also on a very heavy discount. Go ahead, jump in, get on this one. It's the only MMORPG Stadia has. It's fantastic online game with cross-play, so you're gonna have plenty of people to dungeon dive and party with. All right, we're gonna shift the news here a little bit to a big tease for Turkey that was found under APK teardowns. It looks like Turkish translations were found within the code for Stadia, and it's possible Turkey could be seeing a Stadia launch here at some point. The country itself has a population of around like 80 million people, mixed with the Mexico expansion that has been confirmed for Stadia, and we could be seeing Stadia opening up to almost 200+ million people, guys. So good stuff, and we'll continue to monitor this Turkey stuff on the channel and see if it does get that announcement. Finally, to end this video, I wanted to take a quick look at some very awesome Stadia sales, guys. Doom 64 is $1.24. I mean, come on, man, that is so cheap. It's the cheapest it's ever been, and it's just $1. Doom Eternal is $15.99, and as it still stands, this is one of the best Stadia ports on the platform. Full 4K 60 FPS goodness. Then we have Hotline Miami and Hotline Miami 2, respectively $349 and $524. Insanely cheap and worth it. These are some of the best rated indie titles ever. The game of the decade, guys, here. My friend Peppa Pig, the meme monster, the game gobbler, the goat of goats, gets a nice 35% discount to $23.99. Don't miss out on the best game on Stadia, period. Yes, this is sarcasm. Rage 2 comes in at $9.99, pretty much the cheapest this has ever been on Stadia. It's a fantastic shooter adventure. Finally, we have Wolfenstein Youngblood, another highly awesome shooter where you get to shoot down some pretty wicked bad guys. It's only $5.99. This is the cheapest I've seen it on Stadia, so don't miss out on these sales, guys, especially that badass Peppa Pig sale. My goodness. With that, guys, check out the list of the games, the best games on the screen here on Stadia and cloud gaming, and as always, I'll see you guys in the clouds.